What up, y'all? It's your boy Martine, aka the Boxing Purist. Welcome once again to the Truth and Absolute channel, where I speak the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me, good God Almighty. All right, y'all. Now listen, if you're new to the channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. We have a lot of fun here. We talk boxing, unbiased. It's what we do here, baby. That's why it's the Truth and Absolute, brought straight to you. Yeah, I just made that up, yo. What's up? If you've been subscribed to the channel, thank you for your continued support. Thank you for your love. Thank you for dropping the comments. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for hitting that like button. Whatever it is you do, it's you guys helping to build my channel, and I appreciate the crap out of you guys more than you guys know. All right? Now listen. This card in LA, and you guys know what card I'm talking about. It's put together by, what is it, Riyadh, something like, it doesn't matter who's putting it together. All that matters is that it's almost too damn good to be true. Now, I saw a couple of names on there, and I'm like, this kind of hits me one of those old school PBC cards. Do y'all remember when Al Heyman, PBC first broke on the scene? It was on Showtime Boxing, and their cards looked really good because they had a solid A-side. I mean, sometimes we were getting Adrian Broner, A-side, Danny Garcia, A-side, Lucas Matisse, A-side, and you're like, wow. The only problem is on those cards, they were fighting, you know, like Derek Bueller, never heard of him, Sean Reynolds. I'm making names up because that's how familiar I was with the dudes they were fighting. They sold it very well for a while. But this card with Terrance Crawford, I'll get to his fight in a sec, but let me just read off this card to you guys in case you guys don't know, okay? So let me see, where's it at? Okay, so obviously we got Terrance Crawford versus Israil, what's the guy? Madrinov. I'm probably saying it wrong, but you guys know who I'm talking about. We got Isaac Cruz versus, I forgot dude's first name, Valenzuela, American fighter. We got Andy Ruiz versus Israil Big Baby Miller. It looks like we got David Morrell on this same card versus Kalajizik or whatever. And it looks like on the same card, we got Andy Cruz versus Antonio Moran. Okay, that's insane. That's a crazy card. There's a couple of these fights that are just kind of throw-in fights. Well, maybe it's only the Andy Ruiz versus Israil Big Baby Miller. I mean, at this point, me personally, I don't expect too much from Andy Ruiz, and the same thing from Gerald Miller. Reason being is that Andy Ruiz, he had his highlight moment, and that's when he beat and he upset Anthony Joshua in NYC. Israil Big Baby Miller, he could have been something, man, but he kept getting in trouble for PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs. Obviously, as the time keeps ticking and you're not a spring chicken anymore, you waste your time, you waste your talent. Whatever you could have done, it kind of goes bye-bye. Anyway, so let's talk about the main event, though, Terrance Crawford versus Israil Madrinov. Now, Israil Madrinov only has 11 pro fights, right? He has a belt at 154, but he has 11 pro fights. I think he has 1 draw, 7 knockouts, so he's obviously a banger. Of course, he has a puncher's chance in this fight against someone like Terrance Crawford. Of course, it's Bud's first fight at 154 pounds, and it's kind of repetitiveness with Bud, right? And let me tell y'all something. As of right now, I got Terrance Bud Crawford #1 pound for pound on my pound for pound top 10 list. I got Bud at #1. That's just what it is. However, I feel like these moments have happened quite a bit with Bud, where he kind of, you know, he's gone for a little bit, and I get it. He fought last July, but I mean, he could have fought another fight in between that. You know what I'm saying? But he does these little mini layoffs, then he comes back in a fight against someone that we weren't necessarily ready to see him fight. Nonetheless, of course, we're boxing fans. We're going to take it. We're going to be right there watching it. And the card is really nice as well. But I feel like this is what has been setbacks for Bud. And it's cool when Bud was a little bit younger. You know what I'm saying? But Bud is so skillful. He does everything right inside the ring. The guy is strong. The guy could punch. The guy is a nightmare for anybody who laces up them gloves. The only problem is that these layoffs and fights against dudes like this, what's going to end up happening is that one of these dudes that he fights is going to end up tagging in Father Time, in which Bud is going to have no answer. right? I'm a Bud Crawford fan. I respect what he does in the ring. The man is an absolute monster, a beast. I'm happy I've been able to see the majority of his career. Nonetheless, there's been lots of periods of time that have been wasted there. Now, everything got shooken up, right? Because for a while, we thought that Bud was going to go and fight Sebastian Fundora, right? He still may do that, but it's not on the table as of right now. We were in hopes that he was going to face the winner of Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu. Obviously, that fight fell apart. Fundora stepped in, so it's none of the above. Of course, going even further back, we were hoping we were going to see Bud against Jermell Charlo after the Canelo fight. Well, Jermell didn't feel like showing up that night. Bud saw that it was uninteresting now to make that fight because he didn't even try versus Canelo, so that got gone. So my question is, at this point, Bud is what, 37 years old, 36, 37? He's going to fight this fight, and if he does it in typical Bud fashion, I'm assuming he's going to get the W. Of course, I'm not counting out Madrinov, but he's fighting Terrance Bud Crawford, a lot more experience, been in there with better names, more complete boxer all the way around, and he's number one pound for pound on many lists, not only mine. After this, though, is there going to be another layoff to try to fix a bigger fight? And my question is, who is he going to fight at 154? Is this to make the fight with Fundora? Because, I mean, who else is he going to fight in that weight class, in that weight division, that'll be any somehow interesting? Of course, we saw Ryan Garcia throw his hat in there and say he'd fight him at 47, but I don't think that's a fight that really interests Bud, to be honest with you. I mean, personally, I think Bud beats Ryan, obviously. I mean, given that he fights him in a timely manner, not when he's 40. But I don't think that's a fight that Bud's going to necessarily chase. Although I don't know why not, because it'd be a big money fight. But I know that Bud is trying to unify at 154 or undisputed whatever at 154 as he did in the previous divisions, which is cool. My thing is, I'm a Bud fan, and I don't want Father Time to come knocking at his door when he least expects it and get beat by a lesser fighter. That's what I don't want, personally, all right? Now, Isaac Cruz versus Valenzuela. That's a good fight. I think right now, Subriel Matias has a fight lined up too. So what I'm thinking, and I'm not a boxing promoter, this is just from a fan's point of view and thinking from a promotional, point of view, what would sell. I would be making this fight and Matias his next fight, and I hope that they look great doing it because honestly, in 2024, the fight that I feel like I'm more drawn to watch than any other fight out there, as of right now, would be Subriel Matias versus Isaac Cruz. That right there, I'm telling you guys, it does not need to go, you don't need to make that a 10, 12 round fight. Make it 6 rounds because that's all you're going to need between these two monsters, little monsters inside of that ring. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping he gets the nod right here. Isaac Cruz is another one that he needs to keep busy. He made a name already. He kind of hung out for a little bit after the Tank fight, hoping to land a rematch. I know right now he would like the rematch with Tank. Honestly, that's not going to happen. Not for any other reason that Tank is not going to make as much fighting Isaac Cruz as he is I want to say names like Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, and all these guys, but I don't think it's weird. Who's Tank going to fight next? Tank kind of gets a pass. Tank could fight my neighbor, and a lot of people will blow him up like he's the greatest of all time. So, whatever. Andy Ruiz versus Jarrell Big Baby Miller. Now, I know in the intro I was talking about that these guys are already past their primes, and in my opinion, that is true. Any big opportunity that's going to come to them after this fight, a possible clash with the big heavyweights, the big names, that's not going to happen either. I highly doubt it at all. However, the fight itself is actually going to be pretty entertaining because these guys are actually pretty similar, that they're both big dudes. They're both really fast for their size, and they both like to fight. So nonetheless, I think that's going to be an action-packed fight. I think it's going to be a really good one, to be honest with you. Now, I just saw the post for this, y'all, but I'm not sure about a couple of the fights that I told you guys, okay? Because I know that they were announcing that Tim Tszyu and Virgil Ortiz might be on this card, but that's not making sense because I saw a different date for that, as well as Andy Cruz versus Antonio Moran. So those are questionable. I don't want to sit here and talk about a fight that's not going to happen on this card. So I got to go back and look at that, y'all. I'm sorry about that. Nonetheless, though, the names that I talked about is going to make for a really, really good card. That's the type of one that even the casual is going to be like, yo, listen, I want to watch the pre-fights leading up to the mega fight, obviously with Terrance Crawford and Israil Madrinov. I got to learn how to pronounce these names if I'm going to keep making content, yo. So I think it's a really good card. I think it's a stat card. The question for me is, what's next for Bud after that? You know what I'm saying? What's next for Bud after that? We see that Tim Tszyu is going to fight Vergil Ortiz Jr., it looks like on August 2nd. So I don't think that so if you think about it like that, that Fundora is going to rematch Vergil Ortiz, or not Vergil Ortiz, I'm sorry, Tim Tszyu, that would mean that Fundora would have to have a stay busy fight. The two wouldn't meet until September or something like that. And if it was a clash with Bud, that means that wouldn't even be until like 2025 sometime. In my opinion, that's a lot of time wasted for Bud. You know what I'm saying? Again, he has the skills to pay the bills. He has everything. But y'all, let me tell you something. There's only one undefeated fighter, athlete across the board, and that is Father Time. So anyway, y'all, let me know what you guys think about the card. Which fight on that card are you the most excited about? Drop comments down below. And y'all, let me ask you a favor, a blessing. Share this video with your boxing family. You know what I'm saying? With people who like boxing content, with people who like unbiased sports analytics, yo, whatever you want to call it. Help me build my channel like you guys already have. Anyway, yo, drop a comment down below. Let's talk boxing. Much love to y'all. God bless. Have a great day. And remember, the truth shall set y'all free. Peace.